Agnes and Brendan Mearing. As a Paralympic medallist, Brendan Mearing had already achieved more than most of us could ever dream of, but something as seemingly straightforward as owning his own home seemed like an impossible dream. Working together with Mum Agnes, we helped Brendan realise his goal, laying the foundations for a happy and productive future. When he's not enjoying his new home, Brendan is a member of his local church and he continues to be a valued employee of a nearby sandwich shop, a job that he really loves. Working less than 15 hours a week, this doesn't have any impact on his benefits. Using a government-backed scheme known as Hold, Brendan was able to pick a home from the open market through an estate agent, giving him a real choice in terms of the precise location and type of property, something which isn't always available with new-build home-buy housing association developments. Brendan and Mum Agnes tell their story.
I'm Brendan, born in 1965 in
Bishop Stortford.
Hertfordshire, Bishop Stortford. I work in booze. Tea shop in the cafe. I've been there about 6 years now.
You used to work in old people's homes?
I used to work, before that, I used to work at old people's home, Bexton Road, old folks home. That's near Mum and Dad's house.
You got the gold medal,
I've got medals for swimming, and then I met the Pope in Rome in 1979.
His daddy and I and several other parents tried to form an organisation, a charity, to buy houses with a housing association, and we were trying to get 4 of them together to live in that house. We bought 2 houses and they're up and running here, but Brendan eventually said he didn't want to share a house with other people, and he eventually said, I'd like to live by myself. And we started looking at the possibilities of small flats and that sort of thing. And it was while we were looking around for small flats that somebody said, have you heard of this particular organisation? And this gentleman, Dave Abbey, and his brother Lee Abbey, would be helpful in putting us into the picture there and helping us to understand what was involved. And I must say that immediately we got in touch with them. It was so efficient and so energising. We're feeling a bit low about it, but immediately we met the Abbeys. All seemed to be efficiently put into motion for us, which was, I can't tell you what a great help was, because it was becoming to be a nightmare, because my husband and I now are 82 and Brendan's 44, so there's a certain amount of urgency. I'm trying to find exactly, but I must say that it was knowing, speaking with Dave on the phone and then Lee coming up, that it inspired us to know what was available and gave us the energy and to move forward. Every time a difficulty arose or our health was bad, there was always a terrible panic about it all, and it makes you ill eventually. That the constant worry about it does destroy your health. So it's all those stresses and strains have gone, and we're able to get on with our own life. Plus knowing that should something happen to us suddenly, he is catered for, and that is the greatest thing for people like us who've lived to this age. I mean, this is the first time really that people in our age group have lived this much with our young people in his age group. 20 years ago there were still homes for them to go into. Now we have nowhere for them to go unless we put in motion something like this. So it gives us great security and great peace of mind to know that we have done what we can do and that he's catered for. And that is a fantastic thing. We meet up with people daily who haven't got what we've got, and they're still in this terrible state of anxiety neurosis all the time, and this is not a good thing. I would say that they have to start off by seeing their social worker, but I would say to them to try and find a social worker, to be allotted a social worker who is behind this system. Otherwise, the thing's a total flop. And then after that, I would give them the names and addresses of the agencies, and particularly I would give them the Dave Abbey and Lee Abbey, because I've spoken so much about Dave, but about Lee, because Lee came up, and I said his efficiency. It gave me such joy to see it. He knew everything. He addressed his remarks to Brendan. Brendan became a person in his own right. Lee spoke to him as if he had all the dignity. Now that doesn't often happen. There were cases we've been dealt with where Brendan's not even been consulted or even spoken to about anything. But they did, and they were so inspirational. And it's a time when you need inspiration. I don't want people to keep putting me down and telling me they'll write to me in three weeks' time. At my age, I have to have something going. I've got to know positively. And this is what the Abbeys gave to us. And this is, I speak always, ring Dave Abbey. He will ring you back. He's not one of the people that say, I'll be in touch, because we became the great untouchables. So many people are going to be in touch, but we're the great untouchables in the end. But the Abbeys don't do that. They get on with the job and they forward everything as quickly as they can. When Brendan was born 40 years ago, always said, don't worry, we'll look after Brendan. They've all gone, or they've got problems of their own. So you're left isolated. This is not just us, people like us are isolated. They don't know where to go to next. And I think it's a very important facet of all this. Dave and Lee do all they can, and the people that they introduced us to. But this must be addressed nationally.